1370 WOCA.
WOCA.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Wednesday morning. Hope you're doing well. If you have a book lover on your gift giving list, then you will very much want to be listening to this next interview, because our next guest has a book that any book lover would like. This is, I guess, arguably say this is an adult book, so let's just keep that in mind. Victoria L. Trenton is on the phone, and I love this about her bio. It says she's a self-professed dreamer, which I think I am too. I'm going to put that on my business card. Okay. She's a writer, a freelance writer, a dedicated student of the BDSM arts. Going to find out if that is what I think it is, Robin. She's extremely interested in the inner workings of the criminal mind. She's written an awesome book. It's called The Outmate, a wild, erotic, and powerful journey of self-discovery. And it indeed is that. Victoria, which is, by the way, I need one of those journeys. I need the wild, erotic, and powerful journey. Victoria L. Trenton. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Are you in Miami? Where are you?
I'm in Miami, yeah.
Okay, I had a feeling you were. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. It's a little cool here. We're in, we're in Florida, right? We're in like north central Florida.
Yeah, and it's probably a lot colder where you are than it is where I am right now.
Yeah, see, we always like to rub it in with everybody we speak to everywhere else in the country, but you kind of have us beat right now. I think.
It's about 70 degrees here right now.
I love the title, The Outmate. That's just a cool title. You must have been tickled with yourself for coming up with the idea for the title.
I actually didn't come up with the title. I was describing my relationship with an inmate to a friend of mine, and she was just amazed by everything that I was telling her. And she looked at me and she's like, "Wow, so you're like the outmate," and it just clicked in my head.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the perfect title.
Oh, so that's how the title came to you, but you knew right away it was a great title. It's like Clouds in Her Coffee, the Carly Simon line.
Oh yeah.
That was something in a conversation that she took a mental note about. Mm-hmm. Sounds like that's what you do. So this is fiction, right?
It's partially based on truth, but then I took it in a very dark direction, and it became fiction later on. Yes.
Okay, so is your guy still in jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
he's in prison right now, and he won't be home for probably another 10 years. But yeah, that's where the inspiration for the book came from. Is the characters are very closely based on us. The first chapter itself is pretty much verbatim on how our relationship spun out, and after that, I just kind of went crazy with it.
Oh, okay. So you created a character. Her name is Chrissy. Tell us about Chrissy. Yeah. Who is Chrissy, and how is she different from you?
Well, Chrissy is way more lost than I am. She's a very fractured soul. She's looking for some kind of direction and some kind of purpose in her life, and she hasn't found it yet. So when she comes across Nick Jessup, who's the other main character, he's a very domineering, controlling personality, and he kind of takes her over and starts to shape her.
Oh, he's a controlling guy.
Very. It's a very dominant, submissive relationship.
And he's a good-looking guy, too, right?
Extremely, yes.
Okay.
And that's really totally opposite of her life, the way it was leading up to her meeting him then. So she was sort of wanting something like this to happen to her because she was bored with what she had.
Yeah, she was very bored with the white picket fence. She was very not satisfied with everyday life, the 9 to 5, and going to work every day, and she wanted something more. She wanted something exciting. She had this darkness and this need inside of her, and he brings it out of her.
So, all of us normal guys, when we read about a woman who doesn't want to have anything to do with the pretty boys, we like that part. But then when you end up with the pretty boy anyway, it's like, oh, man. Still end up with the pretty guy.
That's right.
Brad Pitt turned 50 years old, by the way, and they're still going gaga over this guy. I don't understand that. So in the story's case, Chrissy finds out about the crime that he's sent to prison for, like late in the game, or relatively late in the game. Was that your story too?
No, I was very aware of everything that he'd done and everything that he's in prison for very early in the game. so that was more fictionalized. Chrissy, in her case, she's so meek and she's so timid and she's so afraid of losing him that she doesn't want to ask what happened. And when she finally finds out, she's so shocked by it, but she still can't let go of it. She can't let go of him.
You know, there were stories of women who fall in love with guys behind bars after they were arrested. Like they'll somehow learn about them, and vice versa. I think there are probably some guys that fall in love with women behind bars too. Mm-hmm. But in your case, you. So when this happened, were you there for the whole trial?
No, I wasn't. I dated him before he was arrested, and we were good friends, and we were just at both crossroads in our lives, and we just didn't have time to make everything gel in our relationship. And then, so we kept in contact, but then one day he just disappeared, and I had no idea what happened to him. And then I think I never stopped thinking about him, and then a year later I finally found out that he was in jail, and he was waiting to be sentenced. And I got in contact with him, and it was probably a good 6 months of correspondence before I finally went to see him. And then it was bam, it was lightning bolt. It was, that's it, we're done, it's over, it's a relationship. And we've been together ever since.
Oh, wow. Now, Nick Jessup is the character that is your boyfriend's counterpart. Is your boyfriend named Nick?
No.
No, okay. Okay. All right. So, has he read the book, your guy? See, this is like a double interview. We're talking about the book and we're talking about your real life. It's like a parallel interview.
You have really done an excellent job delving into the workings of the criminal mind, because I can see how women would be sucked into this, but then also Chrissy, she doesn't want to get out, but she still wants to be strong and just be her own person.
That's the basis of being a prison wife, is that we are all very strong. And I think that that's a misconception that most of the public has, is that prison wives are, low self-esteem and needy and desperate, and that's not the case. Most prison wives that I've met have been the strongest, most compassionate, wonderful women in the world. And there's a very strong sisterhood between all of us that we understand what each other is going through, and we lean on each other for that. So we're the pillars. We're the ones that keep our men down. We're the ones that keep the roof over our heads and the food in our refrigerator.
Yeah, now that you've got a popular book, you're going to move into a bigger house.
Sometimes
not as big as the one he's in, but
sometimes people on the outside look at other people and they ask, why are you keeping yourself in this lifestyle? Why don't you leave? Why don't you do this? And you do such a great job of explaining that in the book. Like, Chrissy is just so totally in love with him that even though he's mean to her sometimes, that she still is looking for approval from him, because she would literally jump in front of a bullet to save him. Yes,
she would. But that comes more from a dominant submissive side than it does a prison wife side. That comes from a need to have that kind of dominant personality that controls you, and that's much more the BDSM thing than it is the prison wife. Like, most prison wives I know, if their men gave them any kind of slack like he does to Chrissy, they would tell her to take it. She would just tell him to take a hike.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so help me understand BDSM. What is that? I should know this, shouldn't I?
You're a man.
BD. Yes.
What is it again? What does it stand for?
Bondage, discipline, sadomasochism.
Bondage.
Yes.
So how does he do this if he's in jail? I mean, you're on one side of the bar. I mean, do you guys get together? What do they call them? Conjugal? They call them conjugal?
No, unfortunately, no. There are no conjugals in Florida. But he's a very dominant personality, and it's a 24 lifestyle for us. I may be the one calling the shots out here, but he's the one that is the head of the household. He tells me how things go, and he's the one that supports me and takes care of me, and whatever he says, I do.
And is that the same thing with Chrissy?
Chrissy takes it to another level. It really gets very dark with Chrissy. She's, like I said, she's a very lost soul, and he takes advantage of that. He manipulates it. He covets the fact that she's so submissive and that she needs that kind of direction, and he kind of shapes her into becoming the monster that she does by the end of the book.
The story parallels your life. Is there a point in the book where it takes a fork in the road where it's no longer paralleling you?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Probably about the middle of the book, and I don't want to give away any spoilers.
No, we don't do it.
But probably about the middle of the book, when things really get very dark and very twisted, is when it really splits for me, and then it became pure fantasy. It was like, for me, I always like to liken it to Stephen King, because if you've read any of his books, you know that he writes some really scary stuff.
Right.
But it's not that he's a dangerous, scary man. He just wants that. I don't know. He has that dark side of him, and he needs to let out, and he does it through its writing. It's very cathartic, and that's what this became for me. I have a dark streak a mile wide, and I really ran with this, and it was very, very fun to write this and just go completely crazy with it and imagine what it could be if there were no moral consequences.
So were you this boy? I hope this isn't too personal of a question, but I'm going in this direction listening to you. When you have a partner who is not accessible to you physically, did the writing give you a way to, at least mentally, kind of go through the erotic things that you are waiting for it'll take 10 years before you can do these things?
Yes, definitely. That's how it began, actually. It was just a series of fantasies that I wrote, little short paragraphs, stuff that I would send him that we would be able to share.
Oh, I bet he loved those things.
Yeah. Exactly. And then it slowly began to develop into the story that I put together piece by piece, and then had to go back and fill in the gaps. And that was the hardest part for me, was taking all these different little pieces of the entire fantasy that I'd spun out and putting it together into something cohesive.
So I have this is something bothering me here. Okay, if I'm a guy, in jail, and I have a beautiful woman on the outside waiting for me, right? And I have no conjugal visits, and she's sending me these thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go nuts in there. I mean, can I pay somebody off? Can I get some conjugal time? I mean, how does he handle it? How does he handle this?
We both learn to. We both practice yoga. We both do a lot of meditation.
Yoga.
There you go. That's how to handle it.
All right, I'm gonna look into yoga. We got a lady talk about yoga later on.
And we've learned to turn that side of ourselves off, except through our writing. He's a writer as well. He's extremely eloquent, and he's writing a book right now. I'm very proud of him. And that's how we release that side of ourselves.
And does he say the same thing about you? Does he say he's proud of you, or is that not in his character?
Oh, no, he's very proud of me. He's very proud of me.
Well, that's good. So he doesn't share them. So this book is,
I was able to finish the book.
I'm sorry, say it again?
He was the reason I was able to finish the book. He was an absolute drill sergeant, making me put it all together and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we talk about eroticism, you call somebody a drill sergeant. It gives a whole new different, different feeling in my mind of what you meant by that. The book is called The Outmate. It is written by our guest Victoria L. Trenton, and it is a good one. If you like this kind of book, you're going to love this one. Mm-hmm. Is this your first book?
Yes, this is my first book.
Well, it's not your last. I guarantee you. Two things I know, one from experience and one just from speaking to a lot of people. You're going to write more simply because you've got the bug now. But then the other part is you're going to have fans who insist that you write more.
Yeah.
There's already a sequel coming, actually. It's in the works. It's about halfway finished, and I'm hoping to release it by probably June of next year.
Now, Chrissy doesn't just fly solo with Nick in your book. She does have a couple of outside friends, but he's very manipulative in the way that he cuts off her communication with them, but she does find a way to communicate. Yeah,
he's very possessive, which is unlike my man. He's not as I tell him all the time, you know, Nick is just you on steroids. He's very jealous. Nick is very jealous, and he's very possessive, and he wants to have her all to himself underneath his wing completely. So he does cut off the outside world to her completely, because that's the easiest way to control her.
How unique is this relationship? Are there lots of inmates with outmates, or is this unusual?
Well, the way I describe it in the book is not like I said, the way most prison wives operate. This is a fictionalized version of it. So there are a lot of outmates, but the relationships are very similar to relationships out here. It's the same thing. It's just geography. It's just he's 700 miles away from me. So it's not like it's an unhealthy, crazy, domineering relationship like I describe in the book. That was purely fictionalized.
Where is he? He's 700 miles away? Oh, he's not down there?
He's in Pensacola.
Oh, that's about as far away as you can get.
Yeah.
I know.
And be in the same state. Oh, so okay. So why? I mean, did the powers that be put him in that prison for that reason? Because it put him as far away as possible and keeping him in the same state?
No, I mean, when they sentenced him and he was assigned to a state prison, we weren't an item yet. We're not married, so they didn't take that into consideration. And they put him where they decided they wanted him.
So you got married while he was in jail?
We're not married yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe I didn't understand that. Were you saying prison wives? So you're a prison wife,
yeah,
but
that's a kind of collective term. That's what we like to call ourselves, whether we're married or not. It's just it's a level of commitment rather than a legal piece of paper. So I do consider myself his wife, even though we're not legally married.
Do you have support groups then for prison wives?
Yeah,
do you guys do that?
Do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do. And here I have to actually give a big shout out to Ro from Strong Prison Wives, because her forum was the first one that made me be able to accept what a prison wife was. And I discovered all these women that knew exactly what my experience was, and it just helped me so much to accept what I was doing and who I was with.
Oh my gosh. And then how does this spill over into the lives of the children? Are you associated with any of the kids from the other prison wives?
Not really, no. I don't have any of my own kids, but I know that a lot of them do, and I know a lot of them work 2-3 jobs just to be able to put food in their mouths and keep a roof over their head. They'll be able to keep their man comfortable and pay his legal fees.
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be a movie. You can see this. You can see Hollywood looking at this. I don't think this idea has ever been... I can't think of another movie like this. Have you? Would you like that? I mean, Rob and I speak to authors all the time, and it's kind of a 50-50. Sometimes an author doesn't want a movie made because they've had a bad experience with it in the past. Mm-hmm. Others can't wait for Hollywood to call them up. What are you feeling right now about that?
I totally want this to be made into a movie. I think it would translate very well to the screen. I can think of several different directors that would really bring it out, and I've already picked out actors and actresses that I would want to play the roles.
Really?
So yeah, I would definitely want this to be.
Is the blonde on the cover going to be in the movie?
Is that you?
No, it's not me. Maybe when I was 20, but not anymore.
No, it's a great shot. I love that.
Yeah.
I went to the back to see if I could see the other side, and it wasn't there. So you have to get the book to get that joke if you want to get the book.
I love the dialogue that you have in there. It's very conversational, and it really hones you into what exactly the personalities are in the book, especially of Nick and Chrissy, because you can feel for her even though she's kind of a bad person.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a very twisted, obsessive love, but there has to be some kind of sympathetic element to it, because you can feel how much these two people care about each other. And yes, they're very sociopathic, but they still really love each other.
Do you know what's an observation? This is observation. Again, going to all the books that Robin and I speak about, women make the best erotic writers. You do. Now, men may be the best photographers about this subject. I think it's a visual thing for us guys. But, and part of this is about photographers, isn't it? Isn't that how this kind of gets started?
That is exactly how it got started. Actually, the person that introduced us is a photographer. He's an erotic photographer. He's probably one of the best photographers I've ever seen. And he was the one that introduced my man and I. So he was the one that got the whole thing started.
So before the whole thing fell apart because of the law, was your guy, we don't know his name. Do you want to say his name? No. Yeah?
No, I promised him that I would keep his.
All right. All right. So we'll refer to him just as your guy.
Okay.
So your guy, was he a male model?
No, he wasn't. He's actually very self-conscious about the photos that have been taken of him. One of them I had to beg for him to use on the cover of the second novel, which is going to be coming out next year. And he's absolutely beautiful, and he should have been a male model, but no, he wasn't.
And you were a female model, right? Or you are?
I was a model for a while, yes.
How do you handle questions from your family as to why you aren't going out meeting other people and moving your life forward and you're just waiting? How do you feel those questions?
They know. They know about
She's
him.
loyal.
They know all about Yeah. They know all about him, and they've accepted it, and it was a little difficult for them at first. I mean, I've lost friends over this, people that don't understand why I decided to commit my life to this man. But I don't see it as waiting. I see it as we're living our lives together. We have plans for the future. We are going to spend the rest of our lives together. Right now we're just 700 miles apart.
Mm-hmm. It says here in the notes for the book that the character Chrissy does something, makes a decision that never allows her to go back to the life she had before. Have you done something like that?
I haven't done anything like Chrissy's done. No,
okay.
That's purely fiction. But yes, making the decision that this is the man that I want to be with was my own Chrissy, because I can't ever go back to that. I mean, I was married for 10 years, and he was a wonderful man, and it was a very white picket fence relationship, and I could have stayed there forever and been safe and happy, and it would have been wonderful, but it wasn't wonderful for me. I was miserable.
What kind of fence do you have now?
No fence, no, sorry.
The character of Nick, even though he's ultra controlling and he seems to be in total control, he's really not, because he's very insecure. Yes,
Nick has a very big heart. He's been severely hurt in the past. He's very guarded in everything that he shows people, and all of the emotion that he shows people. And I think in Chrissy he sees a way to finally connect with someone.
Wow, fascinating topic and fascinating story in the novel as well. Victoria L. Trenton is our guest. The book is called The Outmate. I have a copy of The Outmate. It's a nice, I guess it's called softcover. You won't call it a paperback. It's kind of a big, large book.
Yeah, I know. It's a big 400-page book.
It sure is.
Yeah, but you zoom through it. I mean, you just don't want to put it down. You have to. So this is a good balance in the book.
Let me give it away, and then we will give it information so that the rest of us can go buy it. Let me give this one away first. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Larry, this is Kathy. I very much would like the book.
All right, Kathy, you got it. It'll be waiting for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Wow, that went quick. Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, the lines were lit up, as they say. We don't really have lights anymore. It's a computer screen, but it was we had lots of calls just for that one. All right. So do you have a website? And another question that I answer both at once: is this an ebook as well as a tangible book?
Yes, it's available on Amazon in both print and Kindle, and the website is www.theoutmate.com.
Okay, theoutmate.com. That makes it simple, doesn't it? Well, great conversation. Robin says this is your first radio interview. I hope you enjoyed it.
It is. I actually did. I was very, very nervous. I was up from about 2 a.m. pacing, but
you
guys made it really friendly. I feel great about it now.
We do have to applaud you on this book and on the way you write and your dialogue. It's really, really well written, and it's a keeper.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Go to theoutmate.com. Let me go. I'm going to the site right now, and then you'll be able to see the book. And can we go to Amazon and all the other? Oh, there it is. Amazon. For print and Kindle, and I'm guessing the Nook and all the other things as well?
Right now it's exclusively available through Amazon.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, well, thank you so much for being on the air with us. Do you celebrate Christmas?
I do.
Okay, well then I'm only asking because I don't want to wish somebody Christmas if they don't some people don't do it. Well, Merry Christmas, Victoria. Thank you for being on the air with us, and I hope those 10 years are somehow shortened. I hope you guys get together and have a nice life together. And there's nothing really wrong with a white picket fence, just so you know.
Yeah.
It's better than barbed wire.
And nice guys are okay.
He's a nice guy. Made a mistake. Yeah. He made a mistake. Great conversation, Victoria. Thank you for being on the air with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Good stuff. We'll take. And you, by the way, you're welcome back for the next book as well. Definitely.
Excellent. I will let you know.
We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions.